Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today I talk about the Galaxy Note 10 Lite after over a week, and then why I would tell a person to get it over the Galaxy Note 10 Plus or Note 10. Now, some of you guys are going to really jump out there quickly and say, Jay, don't do it. You know, the specs are this, this, and this. But if I'm talking to a person who just wants a Galaxy Note and they want something that doesn't cost as much as the current models, and they can just buy it and use it on any carrier, the Samsung took care of it for us. They gave us the Galaxy. This is an unlocked Galaxy Note 10 Plus, 512 gig. This is the Galaxy Note 10 Lite, not officially released in the US, but you know what? We swipe our credit cards and we shop online. Why not shop online and take the chance and listen to your man Jay and buy this particular model of the Galaxy Note 10? The Lite version, for the techies out there, you're going to focus on specs. So it does have, this version has the Exynos processor, but the S10 Lite has the Snapdragon 855, which is the same as in this device right here. So let me stop right there and tell folks, I've already done gaming review on this device right in the initial video. I played games, I push it to the limit for 30 minutes or more straight through. It's actually longer than that, but I cut that video down, and the phone handles itself very well. So the processing power with this Exynos processor, people frown on the Exynos processor, but true Galaxy Note fans know the history of the Exynos processor. So for the tech heads, the consumers out there, average consumers or regular folks, I should say, they don't care about the processor inside. But if they did, this phone could still satisfy. I've actually pushed this phone to the limit since having it, and I see hardly no difference from my Galaxy Note 10 Plus. And this costs double the price, if not a little bit more. So when I say no difference, I mean just doing things on the phone is the same to me. Now, if I'm telling a person that this phone is worth the purchase at $499, you can see the links in the description. Use a code if you want to and get that $10 off to get it for $499 or whatever the current pricing is when you're watching this video. Using my code does get you $10 off. But this phone is an easier sell than one might think, especially if I'm going Samsung for Samsung. Because if a person wants a Galaxy Note, this phone right here does the exact same thing as that more expensive phone sitting right over there. You've got the S Pen, you've got the full suite, you've got everything that you can do with that particular device. It's all here. This is the same as that more expensive Galaxy Note 10 Plus. You can control the cameras with the S Pen. You can take photos with the S Pen. You can control your device, but you can do everything that you can do with the more expensive Galaxy Note, you can do with this device. So the S Pen is a selling point for you. I've won you over already because these have the same functionality. Ultimately, they do the same thing. Now, not talking about the S Pen. So these phones both have the Edge Sense. They both have it. These do the same thing. They're all the same. So that is something that if you're thinking about that, you're going to get the same functionality. Trust me, it does it all the same on both phones. So this is definitely a more affordable Galaxy Note, and people should pay attention to that. Now, cameras. I know that today's age of people really focus on social media, and I'll get to hardware and all that stuff, but cameras. Social media is important to people. Like it really is. People are excited about social media. And this is a way that we've gotten in our lives. Like when I was young, social media didn't exist. There was no internet. I remember when there was no TVs. There was, the phone was a rotary phone, and it was just a different world. I never thought as a kid I would see this type of technology, which is why I went to college for technology, for a form of technology. I went for micro applications when I was in college. Because the older I got, I remember when the internet first got introduced. I think I was sitting in my house somewhere, and I was fresh out the army, and my buddy was like, "Man, this internet thing is taking over." I'm like, "Internet thing? What's he talking about?" I created my first email address. Today's world, you say something like that. Like, have you ever talked to a person, a younger person who grew up in this age? They just can't believe that there was no internet and no stuff like. They just can't believe it because they were born into it. Most of our children are born into this type of world, and so the Galaxy Note doesn't disappoint. It doesn't disappoint. Social media is great on this device like none other. It is just another form of Samsung beating themselves to the punch, but they did it at a later date. So if I'm telling a person this phone is great, or it's good enough for their 499 bucks, I tell you no lies. Seeing as though I have them both and I've been doing the same thing on them, it's kind of like I don't know how to get it across any better that when you take a photo with this phone, you won't see that much difference from taking a photo from this phone. Yeah, the quality might be a little bit better on here, but that's depending on the person. This camera right here has this front camera on this thing. I would battle it against a lot of phones, except for the HTC U11. But this camera on here is fantastic. So that will meet your social media needs. Social media needs when you're taking videos of your child, and you just want to get out there and do something great with your family. You've got an ultra wide lens, which is just ridiculous, and you've got a telephoto lens. There's not a lot of cameras out there in this price range that can perform at the same level and still give you more of a complete package. And remember, I'm talking about a consumer who's wanting a Galaxy Note. So you've got 4K recording at 60 frames per second on the rear. That's excellent. On the front camera, you've got 4K recording. No 60, you got 30, but you do have 1080p at 60 on the front, which 60 frames per second takes away from the quality a little bit if you guys don't know that. If you notice, I haven't been doing as many videos in 60 frames per second. All of my 4K videos, now this video is in 1080p at 60 frames per second, but most of my videos now, and I'm shooting this with the Canon SL3 because I've decided to use this camera. I haven't sold it yet. It's still for sale. So great price. You shoot me a deal in my DMs on Instagram, and you're going to get a fantastic deal. Canon SL3 ready to go for you. Got the 10 to 18 millimeter lens left. So that is what you would get if you decide to purchase this. This was my camera of choice for the last 2 years, I think, until I switched over to the Sony camera for doing vlogs. Now, if I don't sell this camera, I'm just going to continue to use it like this. I'm not losing any money or anything, but this camera shoots in 4K, but it shoots 24 frames per second, and I choose not to shoot 24 frames per second just to do YouTube videos like this. I would rather do 1080p at 60 in this view because I think it's better for you. But anyway, this camera can shoot 1080p 60 on the front lens. And if you're a person and you look at all these settings in here, you look at these settings. Let's see here. I like the watermark shot on Galaxy. That's so sweet. If you look at these settings, you're going to get ultimately the same settings for here. Yeah, you're getting the same thing just about. Ultimately, you're getting the same. This camera can just do 4K 60 on the front. Oh no, it does 4K 30. I'm thinking of my S20 Plus. I'm sorry. But with that being said, look at that, Galaxy Note owners. You're getting the same thing on the front, but you get a bonus. Now I'm not gonna front. At this very second, I just realized that the Note 10 Plus doesn't do 60 on the front. But to be fair, this phone did come out last year, and this phone came out at the beginning of this year. So you get a little bit extra on the camera. You do. But on the rear, they're pretty much identical. There you go. I normally keep that at 60. But there you are. Same thing. And if you want to be really petty about it, if I really want to just try to sell you on something, you do get a watermark on this camera, which I think is pretty cool. Now, instead of focusing just on that, let's go over here. You've got live focus, just like you have on the Note 10 Plus, and then you have your video. Obviously, I went over that, and then you've got all these settings in here too. So let's go back into the settings here, and let's look at what's different. So the only thing that's different in here, Samsung added the Instagram filter directly to the Note 10 Plus. But pretty much you've got Pro, Panorama, Night, Food over here. You've got Food over here. And I don't have my glasses, but you got Super Slow Mo, Hyperlapse, and you got Slow Motion over here. And so, yeah, so you got Food and Food and Instagram, looks like. I can get so I've got Food over here and Instagram over here. Yeah. I mean, this is still a capable camera though, right? And I wonder if I can add those things. I could get more. I'm going to try to see if I can dig in and get more to download on here to this one. More filters, that is. But nonetheless, the cameras on here are going to perform great. You can still go up here just like on the other device and change the aspect ratio, go from full to 9. You can do it. It's a complete camera setup, folks. It really is. So your social media life is complete with this phone. It really is. It's complete. Now, I want to talk about the hardware on this device. The hardware on this device is pretty nice. Where's my rag at? Here we go. Yes, there's a lot of fingerprints. Shout out to Sophie Guard. That's where you need to get your skins from if you're looking for skins on your device. Yes, it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet sometimes, but when you shine up that shimmery, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus offers Aurora Glow. Now, this is my black. I went with this black. I think this black is just so beautiful. Black is beautiful. We know this, son. This is a beautiful, because it's kind of like a blue-gray black or something like that. It's really nice. I like to wear my phones without a case, but this is a beautiful, beautiful color. It's not like a flat black or anything. It's got a huge blue, black shimmer gray to it. It's really nice. But this phone right here is beautiful. It's got this white background with the shimmer added on top of it. You really can't beat the way this phone looks. It comes in black. Now, the black on this phone is black, and then it comes in a red. And just as the links in the description, you'll see all the colors. But this phone, I think this color is a sleek one. And while I'm not most of a fan around the shiny sides, but I think it just works well with this particular setup right here. Now, the feel in hand of this device is really nice. I mean, it is a very sleek, it just feels really, really good. It rests at this part of your hand right here when you're holding it. It rests in your hand nicely. It rests in the corner of your hand because you don't want to have something poking you. So if I'm holding the Galaxy Note, case or not, it's still, the Note 10, it's still got that point on it in your hand, right? This is how we hold our hands, whether it be your left hand or your right hand. This phone right here has got the newer design of the Galaxy S20 phase of devices from Samsung, and it in fact feels fantastic no matter how you hold it. This is a 6.7-inch display, folks, and this is a huge display by today's standards. This is pretty much like, it's like if you don't have anything bigger or if you don't average 6.5 inches on your display, you're not doing, people won't look these days. Big displays, slim down in the smallest body is what people want these days, and I can't blame them. Who wouldn't want to have a full screen display like this to watch your movies, your media content, everything? So let's get into that because I like the hardware. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up a video. I'm right here, folks. I'm right here. Here I am. Let's fire up a video here. Let's just fire up this video. Let's look at this. So this is a follow-up video on the LG V60. Now, all right. This is the microphone. This quality right here in full screen is beautiful to me. Yeah, this is a beautiful display. So when it comes to your media consumption on here, it has a single bottom firing speaker, and I'm not going to tell you that it's the loudest bottom firing speaker, but in person, if you view this, if you were to look at this footage in person or just whatever video you're watching, you would like the quality of the microphone depending on the setting. But if you didn't like it, plug in your headphones and then you get the full sound of how great this phone could possibly be to you. Because why? Where's my Dolby? Right there, Dolby Atmos. So, you know, and speaking of the settings, I rarely go over this too much, but the sound quality in here when viewing media consumption, you'll be very, very happy. I mean, very happy. You shouldn't have any issues with it at all. Plugging in is obviously going to bring you the better sound, but either way, you won't be disappointed with that single bottom firing speaker, but it would have been nice to have a stereo speaker, but I'm not complaining because I'm getting the full Galaxy Note suite, and it's all good. So settings. Someone asked me, well, Jay, why don't you show the settings on here? I mean, the drop-down menu. Look at all these options. One important one is that screen recorder. It's beautiful. Having a screen recorder built into the software is fantastic. You can pretty much control everything from up here. And I'll turn off NFC because I'm not using it right now. I've got my sync, my always on display, the edge lighting. I like the edge lighting because I keep the phones face down, because I've dropped phones, or people have sat down on, just anything can happen if the display is facing up. Anything can happen. So I'd rather have the back of the phone damaged than the front of the phone. So I keep my phones facing down ultimately when I'm not using them. Plus, that leaves me, I don't have to think about notifications and stuff like that. So, but I like the edge lighting. It'll light up a certain color around there. You can switch between the dark mode from up here. Bring it back light. And you got your Dolby Atmos comes on when you plug in your headphones. You can turn on your phone visibility if you need to. It's got kids mode, and this focus mode is like I want to take a break, so I'm going to press the focus mode, and I'm not going to do anything or something for a certain amount of time. See, I've got me time or work time. And let's switch over to this one here. You can turn on your mobile data. I have Wi-Fi on though. You've got airplane mode, flashlight, and the flashlight on here is fairly decent. It's not the brightest flashlight, but hey. And I like that Samsung incorporated this. So some people talk about battery and they say, well, Jay, how do you get that great battery that you got on that device? First and foremost, I'm not, and if you can see here, adaptive power saving is not on. So that means that, if I turn that on, it'll pretty much control what's going on in the background when the phone's idle. But I don't normally use that in most cases. Now, I'm getting the good battery life from just using the device. Remember, it also depends on what apps you're doing, what you have syncing. There's a lot that goes into battery life, but some phones just give good battery life because they have a huge battery in most cases. And this phone has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery inside. But one thing I want to point out in this part of the video here is the maximum power saving mode. Here's a trick that you could use. I used to do this back in the day. I would turn on maximum power saving mode at night when I'm sleeping. It puts the phone pretty much into a dead stop. It just puts it into a stop, which is what you want, right? That's not cheating, folks. I've heard people say, oh, that's cheating. How in the world is that cheating? It's there for you to utilize. This is an emergency situation for you also. Let's just say you're on a flight and the flight is 4 hours and you've got 25% left. I highly recommend that you do this. CPU goes down to a 70% of its speed. Turns off always on display. I've already got 7 days, not hours, 7 days and 14 minutes left just by turning this on with 93%. So you go in here, and this is where I can put stuff on here. So I always, when I do this, because you haven't used it on here, so it's nothing there. These are the defaults. You can't change those, but I put my camera over here, and then I can select any of these. So let's just do YouTube, or let's do YouTube right here. And I really don't have to do YouTube because I have the browser, but let's just do YouTube. And look, I have access to social media, the web browser of my choice, and my camera, and they work the same. I mean, so this is something that you should take advantage of. I mean, in my example of you being on a flight for 4 hours and you got 25% left, it's because that's happened to me before. And I have a long flight and I didn't have a power bank or something. I just couldn't get around to charging the phone. And you can see the type of battery I'm getting to, almost 2 days without using that. So, that is just a plus for you to use that. And I think you should take advantage of it. Now, link to Windows, I haven't tried it yet. I want to link it to my Windows laptop, but I just haven't tried it yet. And you got your Smart View and Do Not Disturb and Secure Folder and blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, though, folks, you're not losing out by buying this device in any kind of way. It has all the functionality of the current Galaxy Note devices, and you'll be happy with it, man. You won't be disappointed if you decide to pick this up. And a techie is going to tell you, hey, it has the Exynos processor. You shouldn't get that. Here's my response to the people that keep harping on the Exynos processor as being a bad processor. If, in fact, you like the Galaxy Note, you were considering it, but the Exynos processor is a turnoff for you, and you still don't want to get this phone, you can grab the Galaxy S10 Lite. And only thing it doesn't have is the S Pen in the S Pen suite, but you still have every other functionality. So you'll be set to go. Or try to find a Galaxy Note from the previous years. Now, I don't recommend you do that unless you go with this device, the Galaxy Note 10 or 10 Plus. This is now, at this point in the game, this is the farthest I'm going to recommend a person go back. It's the Galaxy Note 10. The Galaxy Note 9 is nice. The Galaxy Note 8 is nice. But unless you can find a original Galaxy Note 7 or a Galaxy Note 4, I don't recommend that you buy any other Galaxy Note other than this one or this one. So, but to kill off that, man, I wonder if it's getting ready to pull down a software update. But to pull off this argument about the Galaxy Note 10, the Galaxy Note 10 Lite's Exynos processor, I've already shown you how good the phone can do. But what's this say? I got some updates. Oh, I got some updates coming in for the software. But I'll let this check in the background. It's probably pulling something down from the server. I hope it is, because I think this is on the March security patch with Android 10. That's another thing. The software is up to date. So, except for the security patch, but it does have Android 10, and I'm sure it'll get updates. But, your ultimate decision on whether or not something is going to work good for you is got to be up to you. You can't rely on me to tell you. And this video is just some kind of stepping tool for you folks. Don't think I'm trying to sell you the device, like make you buy it because I think it's good. You should be, the people that are watching this video, there's a couple of different people watching this video. First and foremost, there are people watching this video that just want to support me. They just like when I do videos and they subscribe to the channel, or they're not subscribed, but they come back and visit and watch my latest videos. And to you guys, I greatly appreciate it. And then you have those people that are actually looking for a comparison between the Galaxy Note 10 Plus and the Galaxy Note 10 Lite. Okay? And then you got those people that are looking for that comparison, trying to see if it's actually worth getting the more expensive one or getting the one that's not as expensive. Because sometimes people equate the cost, they think that the cost of a device, just because it doesn't cost a lot, it's not good. And that is totally wrong. You shouldn't always look at price of a device to determine whether or not it's worth buying or not, or if the quality is going to be there, I should say. You have to use it if you can. If you can't use it, then you're here on my video and other people's video who have this phone and they're giving you their honest discussion about it, like I am, after using it for over a week. So use this video as a crutch and a mild stepping stone, or just a pinch of your decision if you're considering buying the Galaxy Note 10 Lite over the Galaxy Note 10 Plus or Note 10, or you were indecisive about the two. Use this video as a tool for you to help you make some kind of decision, but only make it a small percentage of your choice to make. You will determine whether something is worth it or not after you buy it. When people ask me, is it worth it? I'm going to say a lot of things are worth it, but some of you guys might say it's not. So this is just a tool for you. All of my videos are pretty much just a discussion on after using a device, or a discussion about a device, and you have to be the final say-so on whether or not you think it's worth it. And so from where I sit, I could definitely recommend the Galaxy Note 10 Lite over spending a bunch more for the Galaxy Note 10 or 10 Plus. If you're in that situation where you don't have trade-ins and you just don't want to, if you're cutting it close. Let's just say, here's an argument real quick before I get out of here. People always say, well, what if they're the same price? Well, obviously, for me, I would pick the Note 10 Plus because it has the more powerful processor in the end. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't pick, the Galaxy Note 10 Lite. Well, Jay, I thought you said processors don't matter. They don't. But this phone has 512 gigs built in and an SD card. This phone is what, 128, I think? This has 12 gigs of RAM. There's some differences that me as a techie, I always do it that way. But if they were the same price, yeah, I'm going to pick the Note 10 Plus. But if in fact they're not the same price, which they aren't, let's just say this phone is $595, and this one is $499. Go with this one. Don't spend the extra $100. Save your money. Okay? So that's why I say take what I say just by a smidgen. Don't take what I say so much to heart. Because you're going to say, Jay, well, you just told me this is a great phone and you could recommend it over the Note 10 Plus. I still do. But if they're the same price, I'm going to go with this one. You might go with this one because you might like the way it feels in your hand. You might have smaller hands than I have, which I'm sure you do. You see how massive these things are? I could slap the heck out of somebody with these. I don't hit people. But nonetheless, I want you to enjoy your tech the way you want to enjoy your tech. I hope you enjoyed this detailed, extended video on the Galaxy Note 10 Lite. This is why I recommend it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.